Welcome to Kane's Wrath, something we don't get to see very often. A 2v2v2 on Dead 8. We almost had ourselves a radio cast, but no, I remembered. I pressed the wrong button. Anyways, kicking it off as our green team in the top right-hand corner. This is Sparta. His teammate playing the Marked of Kane. This is Adventurer playing the red team in the south. This is Outlaw number 1 and his teammate playing the pink. It's skeevnash, who is not Steve Nash, but playing the blue team in the bottom left corner. This is YourHorse and BreakingForce. Lovely rhyming names there. And meanwhile, we have the purple team in the top left-hand corner. This is dankson. And, of course, everyone's favorite, SuPaHaamsSsTeRr. The superiest of hamsters is who that is. So welcome now to Dead 8. It's one of these maps that we see every once in a while. Massive blue field right at the front. I believe there's a map Dead 6, which is an actual map that comes with the game. It ships with Kane's Wrath. And it's very similar to this. This is a modified version of that map designed for 8 players. So you do start with this massive blue Tiberium, and I am now very worried for Team Purple. Now, they may be playing the long game, not realizing that there is a blue field that you can get to immediately. You'll notice basically every other team, one player moved their MCV to this field, and then the other player like queues up a refinery so that they can get that blue Tiberium as fast as possible, except Team Purple, which means either that Team Purple is about to get dumpstered, or the other 3 teams will end up in a fight amongst themselves, and then Team Purple will, like, in 10 minutes discover there's a blue field here and go and expand to it, and then they will have a massive spike in income after everyone has already burned through their blue field and fought each other. And we shall, we'll see. There is like a string. Okay, the red dots on the minimap are spread out in such a way that it almost looks like there's some kind of a trail that leads to the blue base. And boy, with this being on a dark map, those dark blue dots on the minimap and the purple dots don't show up very well. It's going to be a bunch of descents moving into Adventure and Sparta's base. Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash joining together to strike to the north, going for the blue Tiberium field, and they have a massive group of Seekers and Gunwalkers. Not particularly high damage output units, but the descents rushing in to help deal with those tanks. A couple of Harvesters going down, and of course, BreakingForce and YourHorse, they might be able to backstab the Team Red in the bottom right-hand corner. They might be able to backstab with this knowledge that Team Red has already moved out and has sent an army forward onto the map. MCV from YourHorse going for the proxy location. That's a lot of blue Tiberium. It's worth fighting over your opponent's blue Tiberium field. And if you can get a proxy MCV location nice and close, that is a great spot to attack from. Seeker tanks fighting versus Scorpion tanks. Seeker tanks on both sides of this fight, with Sparta and Adventurer going at it on the defense side. Obelisk is now here. 2 obelisks coming in from YourHorse. This is not going well for Team Purple. So already it's looking like BreakingForce and YourHorse are going to have a good time fighting dankson and SuPaHaamsSsTeRr. If they get that win there, they could have a massive advantage for this game, having the entire left side of the map under their control. Meanwhile, Adventurer and Sparta putting up much more of a fight than Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash perhaps were expecting. Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, they have already burned through that entire blue Tiberium field. They've got 6 grand still in the bank between the 2 of them, but they have no more blue Tiberium on the map. So if they don't win here, they are going to have not a lot of cash to fall back on relative to their green opponents, who still have half a field of blue Tiberium to throw into a counterattack. So this attack kind of needs to work and they have broken through the defenses of Team Green. They have started assaulting the direct infrastructure, and it looks like they will be able to pull out some massive damage. Meanwhile, the obelisks keep on pumping out that damage storm column here as well. The descents have largely been cleaned up. Those buzzer hives behind buildings are so difficult to deal with for those descents. And yeah, Team Green has now completely retreated from their natural expansion. They're going to draw back to their main base and hope to just exist off of that green Tiberium. The do or die has worked, and honestly, Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, they need to take that blue Tiberium as quickly as possible. They need to steal it from their opponent, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Skeevnash with 4 or 5 harvesters all being sent to long distance mine. Meanwhile, blue versus purple on the left side of the map. BreakingForce and YourHorse, I thought they were going to have an easy time cleaning up Team Purple, but Team Purple is mounting a serious defense, and honestly, having that artillery right away, I don't know how quickly he got these Devastator warships, but having the Devastator warships out very quickly is a huge advantage and a huge benefit when you are being assaulted by obelisks. The blue Tiberium is still very much contested, and Team Blue is literally trying to steal it out from under Team Purple. Those sneaky YourHorse harvesters, they're stealthed, and they're on the front line. Team Green not having a good time, and the perfect temporal shield coming in here to slow down all of the harvesters at these refineries. And meanwhile, the other harvesters getting targeted down. Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash bringing a lot of pain to Adventurer and Sparta. A 2v2 v2v2, and it could be Team Green who is actually out first. That rush for the blue didn't save them, unlike Team Purple, who went for the blue second, who spent a lot of cash in just building up their main bases normally. And the result is they have a little bit of artillery back at home to hold off this attack. They've survived for a little while longer, but they're still not out of the woods yet. And whoa, the map freaking out as that Overlord's Wrath gets called in. A wormhole gets deployed, and skeevnash is sending units into the back door just to be EMP'd and shut down. This is an Eradicator Hexapod with no units inside of it and no support, as they're going to have a difficult time doing anything with that Eradicator Hexapod. Sparta is out of the game. Adventurer stands alone as Team Green versus Team Red. Team Blue is pushing a little bit further forward. Massive shots from these Spectres landing on the beam cannons. And, well, BreakingForce has lost his Eradicator Hexapod, but it looks like they have gained the front line, stealing this blue Tiberium, just adding insult to injury. Descents coming to the front line from Team Purple. Pretty massive shots coming in from those Spectres to try and clear out the infantry. And there is a Redeemer here on the front line to help deal with these counter-attacking forces. And dankson leaving the game as well. SuPaHaamsSsTeRr and Adventurer both on their own versus their double team opponents. 2 teams down to 1 player apiece. Frontline continues to move forward for BreakingForce and YourHorse. They've also started the fight with Team Red just a little bit here. Eradicator Hexapod from Outlaw number 1. Massive shot somewhere. I feel like a mothership just got eliminated. Well, I guess that's it. Team Purple is out. Adventurer still in this game. He's got Pax assaulting his base. He's got a Conyard being stolen. The Prodigy walking up and taking it. SuPaHaamsSsTeRr and dankson, the first team eliminated from this 8-player game. There's still 3 teams remaining, but really, there's 2 teams remaining. And there's currently more Tiberium on the right side of the map than on the left side of the map. So there is a possibility of team left side just running out of cash. They do still have half of this massive Tiberium field, so there is still a decent amount of money here to be harvested. It's just maybe a little bit more spread out. Adventurer's still in this game. Oh, he's flying his drone ship away. I'm not sure that that's going to work. And, well, he just learned about how much damage a drone ship takes from packs while it's flying around. And that's what happens when a Marked of Kane player tries to pivot and play Skrin. He discovers that drone ships on the move are still vulnerable. Planetary Assault Carrier goes down. That pack won't survive any longer. And the Plasma Missile Battery gets deployed as well. Another Overlord's Wrath getting called in, but this one is just for the Tiberium field. Got to use that Ichor Seed, got to call in that Overlord's Wrath, and, well, the drone ship tries to make another escape, and it will not make it. Planetary Assault Carrier taking a lot of damage, but I believe that is now... Oh, no! The MCV got reclaimed. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why skeevnash didn't sell it off or do anything else with it, but... No, the Prodigy goes down, so I guess the Conyard goes back to Adventurer. And Adventurer, he's now lost his Skrin tech, but he does have another MCV there. And okay, Engineer does grab that MCV, so a bit unfortunate, but skeevnash now reclaims that MCV. He got the Hand of Nod, he got the Secret Shrine as well. He's unlocking all of the areas of that tech tree for the Marked of Kane. And yeah, I feel like the second part of this game is going to be a lot longer than the first one, but it's also going to have some absolutely massive fights in it. These teams... I'm so surprised how long Adventurer has stayed in this game. Okay, War Factory goes down. I think Adventurer is truly at the end of his rope now. I think he has units, but nothing else. He can't rebuild his Skrin MCV. He can't rebuild his Marked of Kane MCV. I think he's truly out of it in terms of everything else. This power plant, these 3 power plants might be the only thing actually keeping him in this game. Oh my gosh, he might. Nope, he's not going to get the MCV. He will do some massive damage to it. He's going to kill this MCV. He actually did kill the MCV. He can't do anything else, but he can kill an MCV. There's still 2 power plants remaining here for Adventurer. Meanwhile, huge income advantage for BreakingForce and YourHorse if they can actually claim all of this Tiberium during this kind of quiet time. If they can claim all of that Tiberium and not just throw it all away, they're going to have a huge amount of Tiberium in terms of army. They're going to have huge value of army ready to go whenever this fight ends. But in terms of income per minute, Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash are doing a really good job of keeping pace. YourHorse is actually the weakest player in terms of economy in this game at this stage. He only has 7k per minute, which in a normal game is okay. It's not great income, but it's okay income. But everyone else is at 16k per minute. So they're literally doubling Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, and BreakingForce are all doubling YourHorse in terms of income. 2 power plants still here. Little bit of an army still here. If this was some kind of a tournament game where it mattered where you placed, then staying in the game would potentially make a difference. But those 2 power plants, I guess he's got these 2 tip spikes as well. If he only had a production facility of any kind, even a barracks, you know, if he could make something with it. Oh, there's a 3rd power plant. Well, 2 power plants now. He's got lots of power. Can't really do anything with it, but lots of power. BreakingForce, YourHorse. They've got the left side of the map. They really should be throwing down accelerators everywhere that they can, especially on these blue fields. Throw down growth accelerators. They've got one there. They don't have one on their main field either. But yeah, drop those accelerators anywhere you can. Nuclear missile gets deployed. I just realized no GDI in this game. No GDI factions of any kind, it's all Skrin and Nod. And it's mostly Skrin that remains. 1 Marked of Kane player, 2 Vanilla Skrin, 1 Traveler player. So we do have the possibility of wormholes. We do have the possibility of Prodigy and Cultist shenanigans. And this is a massive air armada coming in. Let's see how they do. That's a lot of packs. It is an election year, so that's what we expect to see here. And there's a couple of packs on the defense as well, but skeevnash has spent his money well. Redeemer gets eliminated extremely quickly. The Eradicator Hexapod as well. It's a true invasion of Earth. The Venoms are here. The Samsites are here. But can they stand a chance? Ion Storms all activated at once over top of Team Blue. An Adventurer is still in this game, just watching it all happen from the corner of the map. The Ion Storms will dissipate as the Planetary Assault Carriers move forward. Tier 3 going down, MCVs eliminated, and it is just an all-out assault from skeevnash, and this is just the first wave as the packs roll over Team Blue's base. It's been a long time since we've seen this kind of firepower rolling into a base. That's a fully heroic Venom running for its life. He's hoping to survive the night, but this is a dark and stormy night if you are not a Skrin player. The packs are being thinned out. They have advanced extremely far, way farther than they really should have. They're now like completely surrounded by anti-air and not having a good time. 1 green Gunwalker going for the move there. Middle of the map, still being contested. And yeah, these packs, this is still a lot of packs that remain. The packs that got sent north, they should have all been sent south instead to fight the packs of BreakingForce. Deal with these packs from BreakingForce, go down south, clear out this section of the map, and then head north. But they moved north a little bit too early. EMP's coming in. Oh my gosh, Adventurer just trying to be as annoying as possible. I don't think they really realize that these power plants are the only things keeping them in this game. More packs crossing the map. 4 minutes until the nuclear missile. 5 minutes 20 until the rift generators. And the 2 rift generators from Outlaw number 1 and YourHorse are nicely timed together. So they are going to be very close to each other in terms of being able to activate them both at once. SAM sites, plasma missile batteries, 7, 8 plasma missile batteries all grouped together. Shard launcher upgrade, they are ready to go. You might need some other artillery to be able to break this stuff quickly. And that power plant has to be spotted at some point, right? Right? It might actually get shot accidentally if these units go too close to it. And then the discs from the Devastator warships could splash it accidentally. Who versus who? Well, YourHorse. It's actually you and BreakingForce versus Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash. We'll see if this second wave of units is able to break through. For now, it is a massive number of packs ready to go. Second wave from Outlaw number 1. Skeevnash was able to bust through, do some decent damage with that first wave. I can't believe this power plant is still here. Are both of these Tiberium spikes also controlled by Adventurer? Does he have 4 Tiberium spikes? Someone should claim those Tiberium spikes. That's 4 Tib spikes at least that are about to be deleted from the map. And okay, these 2 have already been eliminated. YourHorse and BreakingForce. They know what's coming. They know the Planetary Assault Carriers are the name of the game for Outlaw and skeevnash. 2 minutes until the nuke. Can they survive 2 minutes? No, this MCV, this drone ship moving out at the worst time possible. It has a couple of Venoms here for support. That's 3 fully heroic Venoms. Not often do you see that. And the packs are doing what they can to hold off those Venoms, but it is just so many pack drones for these Venoms to fight. Even with 3 fully heroic Venoms, Outlaw number 1 has found what is a better angle, but a still very difficult angle considering how much there is here. EMP lands, but it just takes away the shields, or that EMP just missed. This is a good plan by skeevnash and by Outlaw number 1 to do 2 sets of packs, hitting in the north and the south. In the south, they didn't really make any headway, but in the north, where there's a lot less anti-air static D, they were having a lot better time. Venoms getting slow fielded, and the pack's finding some damage, but not a lot versus these Venoms. The Venom's able to fly out of the area, and I feel like packing along, I don't know, some Gunwalkers or something. Ooh, the wormhole into the back of the base, targeting down the tier 3. They could get the MCV as well, or maybe just go for power plants. Try to chain all of these power plants. Get 1, 2, and then plus these 5. That'd be a lot of power plants to eliminate. A couple of harvesters is good as well. Mine drop a little bit too late. YourHorse deploys the mines, but not quite able to land as quickly as he would like. And YourHorse also, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Always appreciated. In his own game, subbing to the channel. And the stasis shield comes in to lock down these tripods. They're making a run for the hills, but only one actually gets out. And I assume the phase timer continues to count down even when the units are in the stasis. I assume the stasis doesn't hold them there, or hold the timer as well. And these Venoms, dodging in and out, have been able to do so much damage to these packs. The second wave of packs has been dealt with, and all of these tripods are actually still phased. So that actually, maybe this stasis does hold the phase. Maybe it does pause the phase timer, but they're not going to make it out alive. The tripod husks will litter the ground. And at some point, Adventurer also left the game. I don't know. I guess his last power plant got eliminated. Yep, all of his tip spikes are now gone. So that is half of the players out of the game, and the other half are locked in an eternal struggle. BreakingForce and YourHorse. Massive nuke lands on top of the packs, and they all survive. They lose their shields, but they all survive. If only there was a second nuke ready to go. Meanwhile, Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, they have dual rift generators ready to go. And I honestly, yeah, just trying to use them on the units might be the best thing. There's still 1 rift generator that can be used there. It's on top of the power plants. Burns down the power plants, takes the signal transmitter with it. And Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, they have decided, you know what, the actual best thing to do is to shell the base from a distance, and killing that drone platform and then the power plant would be a better use of time because all of these are offline. So get the drone platform. I guess you have to kill the stealth generator first. More packs moving out. Every single player is above 200k total resources gathered. And well, that drone ship going down. Drone ship gets sniped. And the southern base has finally been cleared up. The tib spikes are all that remains. YourHorse's Venoms. 4 Venoms that are fully heroic. They do massive damage, but it's just so many units to chew through. Wow, they actually do blast those drones super fast. The drones can't, they can hardly even chase because the drones just get eliminated so quickly. As soon as the Venoms go away, they just start blasting the drones. Just racing away from that front line. But it's another wave of packs. skeevnash and Outlaw number 1. Outlaw number 1 has 28 grand in the bank. Oh my gosh, he needs to just throw all of that into units. Massive EMP lands. Where's that EMP control center? They have got to take that out. Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash just threw a huge amount of money down the drain because they were not ready for that EMP. Skeevnash throwing out a ton of beacons. Beacon. As the wormhole comes in, a bunch of tripods step out and the Venoms step forward. The EMP's landing. YourHorse trying desperately to hold the front line, but the south has fallen. The southern flank is exposed. The Pax and the Devastator warships moving forward. It's an unending assault, a never-ending onslaught from Team Red. 300, 400k total resources gathered. Meanwhile, BreakingForce and YourHorse, they're down around 250k each. So they're down 150,000 total resources gathered between the teams. A huge advantage for Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash. The nuke fired off once, but not again. The rift generators found their marks, but the 4 minutes that remain may be too long of a timer for this game. Another wormhole to teleport more tripods across the map. Venoms ready to go. Nuke getting targeted. Goodbye to the super weapon. BreakingForce and YourHorse slowly but surely being eaten away at by this massive army of airships. One lonely Redeemer trying to escape off to the right. The Venoms holding the line with all their worth. 2 double vet Venoms ready to go fully heroic. At a moment's notice, Rage Gen fires off. Could this be a moment to hold the line? There's so much damage that's already been done. I don't know that they can turn the game around, but they can survive until the next wave. 5 Venoms that are fully heroic, ready and waiting. These packs. I don't know what the rebuild time is on the drones, but it must be pretty quick because these drones keep getting cleared out. Another pack goes down. Another Venom goes heroic. YourHorse trying to get the highest number of heroic Venoms in a single match achievement. The GG comes out. YourHorse and BreakingForce drop out. And Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash get the win. They finish out the game in a surprisingly crisp 28 minutes. For an 8-player game, that's actually not a bad game time. And yeah, by the end, Outlaw number 1 and skeevnash, just their total income was so massive. BreakingForce just didn't have any income past that, 21, 22 minute mark. And YourHorse had been behind the others for a while. Team Red, able to clear out the right side of the map. Able to get the win. Welcome to the 2v2. Welcome to Forgtten Forest, where we have green versus red, as we have the double Marked of Kane team on the left side. In the north, this is Moon, and in the south, this is Dzemi. Meanwhile, on the right side, playing kind of an unholy alliance, playing the GDI, this is Donald Trump 1234. The dude joined Kane's Wrath so late he couldn't even get his own name as a user account. I had to add the 134. Then, playing the Black Hand, this is One Striker. So old Trumperino and Striker versus Moon and Dzemi. We've got ourselves double Marked of Kane versus GDI Black Hand, which... honestly, all 3 really strong factions. All 4 players have strong factions here. Double Marked of Kane could be an advantage or a disadvantage. We'll see. And from like the classic strong factions lineup, the only thing we're really missing is either Skrin or Traveler 59. You know, depending on which variant of Skrin you want to play. If you're a stasis shield kind of lover, you're really going to need to play Skrin. And if you're a mind-controlled degenerate, then you're going to want to go for that Traveler 59. So, honestly, yeah, we're only missing like one of those factions. And this is a really strong lineup of factions overall. Dzemi and Moon versus One Striker and D-Trump. And we'll see if the double EMP team ends up being able to bring out the win. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Reckoner is here. I think this was spotted. Yeah, we have the buggy scout coming through, so very likely this has been spotted already. Flame tank gets cleaned up. Yep, there it goes. Flame tank goes down, spotted and eliminated. The MCV doesn't take a lot of damage, but the bikes do get the kill on that flame tank. The Reckoner, on the other hand, gets EMP'd. Oh, that is incredibly frustrating. Dzemi and Moon, they are completely aware of what is going on. Meanwhile, Donald Trump went for the expansion, and it didn't work the way he wanted. A little bit slow for the expansion. And normally, you see the Southern player move their MCV a little bit sooner so that they can get down to this double expansion field faster. But in this case, One Striker and Donald Trump, they're kind of doing the reverse. They're going for this single contested field in the middle of the map first, and then I assume they're going to go for the Southern expansion at the same time. But it just kind of means that you're split across the map, so you have more Tiberium, but you also have a lot more surface area where you could potentially be attacked. We'll see if it ends up working out, and it looks like the Reckoner has healed back up and then been spotted again. So he got denied once, healed up, or at least drove back to his base for a little while. I don't know, maybe he didn't heal up. But, and then he gets spotted a second time and EMP'd a second time. So it couldn't be going much worse for this Reckoner. He got tagged by the buggy, he got spotted out, and it's just about as bad of a situation for that Flame Rush as you could have asked for. The Flame Tank got shot down on the Flame Tank Maker side of the map, on the Rusher side of the map, and then the Reckoner has been delayed so incredibly long. Although occasionally we do see this sort of thing where like the Flame Rush gets delayed by one thing or another, and the early stuff gets eliminated, and then accidentally there is an opening after the other team or the opponent has forgotten about all these flame units. They hit in like 2 minutes, and then it's like, oh, you're not even ready for it. But in this case, Donald Trump lost a Harvester in the middle of the map, and Moon is now going to be able to find a little bit more damage, forcing the Reckoner to deploy. He gets a Harvester, and then he's going to get out of the base, doing some damage as Dzemi shows up. He's going to get overwhelmed and shut down, but he does a little bit more damage to those Harvesters. Maybe another strike can come through, but no, it's going to be more and more dead bikes. Moon and Dzemi, they find some damage, but they're not finding enough to give them a big leg up into the next stage of the game. So One Striker and Donald Trump, I think, can stabilize from this point forward. Yes, they're down a couple of Harvesters from where they would like to be, and they do still have a lot of surface area to defend. But as long as they can defend it, they can stabilize. They probably need about 2 minutes to be able to stabilize and get back to where they want to be. So the next 2 minutes could be very difficult for them. We'll see how these bike-buggy combos can line up, if they can find any openings or weaknesses. Watchtower gets deployed. Command post is here as well, so AP ammo is likely started. Oh, it's not very far along at all. There's no hope for AP ammo to just, like, suddenly get added on and then save this attack. Most of the Pitbulls have gone down, one fighting for his life. Another Harvester gets eliminated. A lot of these decoy units are finally being cleared up, so the numbers look a little bit more realistic, but also more reinforcements coming in. A second Harvester goes down, and a third Harvester. Well, you need a couple of more minutes to be able to stabilize from this point forward. It's been 45 seconds, and the only thing that's happened is more destabilization as the bikes run through this base and they clean up every single Harvester. I guess they could still, Team Green could still find an angle, and this is one reason why you typically don't see the split expansions like this. you typically see them just focus on one expansion. Oh, that's a lot of harvesters. That's also a massive sonic emitter shot, finding 3 bikes at once. Another bike gets eliminated. And that's another 2 harvesters potentially going down here. That Reckoner, still with the double Black Hand Squad inside of it, will find a way to defend this base. And now, one striker comes back in with the bikes and is able to clean up Moon, shut that down. But this is so many harvesters. 3, 6, 7 harvesters, 8 harvesters, which is actually more than enough. I cannot believe how many harvesters Donald Trump had in this game, and he lost, I don't know, 5 or 6 here already. So the dude had 13, maybe 14 harvesters bringing in the cash. And honestly, when you've got that many harvesters, you can lose 5 or 6 and still be able to bounce back. So I guess they've actually kind of stabilized. They're definitely not where they want to be, but Team Green has been taking so much damage. They should be just done and dusted. They should be out of this game, but they're going to try and hold on. They still probably need like 2 minutes to build the army that they want, to get to the tech level that they want, but they have at least survived. And I mean, Juggernauts, if you can get a Marv out, Juggernauts and Marv can hold the line for a long, long time. Blue Tiberium being claimed by Dzemi and Moon. They've also got access to this big contested field in the south, and if they don't make a move to try and take that area, they're going to be they're going to have some problems if they don't win the game with this army. They really do need another field to transition after this army. We'll see how it goes. For now, it's one striker fighting by himself against Dzemi. Fortunately for one striker, Moon is kind of focused in the north. He's going for this obelisk push. Juggernaut did get sniped. At least one of them did. The other one has survived. And there's going to be the catalyst missile. Finds 2! Dude, that spread still wasn't good enough. Donald Trump's refineries were too close together. And as a result, they will lose 2 of them in one fell swoop. Is that another catalyst missile? What was that? What just landed? Catalyst missile in the south? I don't know. Something just fired off. But more harvesters will not be needed. Refineries don't matter if all of the war factories get eliminated. And the war factory on the front line has been cleaned up. The command post low on health as well. That gets cleaned up. And Team Green, well, they need a lot of Team Green. But they need a lot of green. But they're trying. They're trying with everything. And no, the EMP lands on the MCV in the worst way. You want the EMP to land before the MCV packs up, because this is the worst state for it to be in. The Spectre Artillery. We can say that's a bit of overkill as the Spectre Artillery lands a shot on like an 80% dead MCV anyways. Not an ideal scenario. And yet, one striker finds a bit of weakness. He finds an opening in the north. Whatever Moon was trying, it ended up not working out. Moon, with 8.5 grand in the bank. EMP's now going to be landing everywhere on this Scorpion army, trying to shut this stuff down. Obelisk of Light trying to fire as many times as it can. And it looks like the main base is going to be falling, and the expansion is going to be falling at the same time. One striker and Donald Trump trying to clean up the main base of Dzemi and Moon, but they're just not able to kill the buildings fast enough. Meanwhile, Dzemi, with the Avatar Awakened Redeemer Raider Buggy army, is just chewing through the expansion of one striker. Army has mostly been cleaned up. A couple of harvesters might end up going down. Beam cannons. Beam cannons from one striker finding the damage. He might actually get that tier 3. He might actually be able to shut that down. Juggernauts have turned around. Riflemen clearing up the awakened squads. And, well, they may not be able to do anything about the avatars, but that's what the juggernauts are for. Stealth tanks coming in from behind. 2 stealth tanks to snipe the juggernauts. Dzemi and Moon not leaving anything to chance. Those Tib core missiles helping to shut down the artillery. And that Reckoner is dead, but it's going to take a while to actually kill it off because the repair is so good when the Reckoner is in that mode. Just 6 avatars blasting away at a Reckoner and it's still surviving. It's so low on health and the Juggernaut gets another shot off. The Reckoner finally goes down. And, well, the Hammerhead's now going to be showing up. If only the Zone Troopers were inside of those Hammerheads. Another Avatar does go down, but at the War Factory being targeted. One Striker and Donald Trump trying desperately to hold on to this game. Dzemi did not pack along any anti-air with this army. He brought EMP for the ground. Actually, he did bring some buggies, so he's at least got that. But he brought some EMP for the ground. He brought Avatars or Redeemer for everything else, but he didn't think about the aircraft. And now it's going to be Venoms showing up a little bit late to the party. The Avatars have mostly already been cooked. They've already been shot up by those Zone Troopers. And the Venoms have so many targets to hunt down, but the Hammerheads have no defense. Donald Trump 1, 2, 3, 4 has been defeated as Dzemi and Moon get the win, and one Striker leaves the game. Well, that was perhaps a lesson in don't go for this split expansion. I do think that if the action had been slower, if Moon and Dzemi hadn't attacked, then the split expansion may have been able to work out, but you've got so much surface area to try and defend, and that's what we saw. One Striker and Donald Trump both got overwhelmed in different ways. One Striker trying that flame rush, getting caught, not having enough to follow up, and the defense was not enough to hold off Dzemi and Moon, and then the snowball just kept rolling after that. That'll do it for that game. Let's jump into some more Forgtten Forest matches. Welcome back to Forgtten Forest for another double Marked of Kane game. But will it actually be the way that you thought? No! Because this is actually Marked of Kane being on split sides of the map. So we have, in the north, in the top right-hand corner, this is edface. And babyjunior being a Marked of Kane GDI team. Meanwhile, on the left side of the map, playing the blue team, this is dankson. And of course, his teammate is TakingNotes. Not necessarily literally, but that is his name. TakingNotes is the name. And that brings us to another Forgtten Forest match with 2 Marked of Kane players. But in this case, they are actually split. So it's a Marked of Kane and a Reaper 17. I actually may have said Traveler. I don't remember. Reaper 17. Not Scrin, not Traveler, versus GDI and Marked of Kane. So, some strong factions. Reaper 17 is not necessarily picked as much, but they have some super strong ground army that can be utilized. Those Reaper tripods charging up can shred stuff, but people aren't necessarily as familiar with using Reaper 17 as they are with some of the other factions. So we'll see how Team Blue is able to handle it. Meanwhile, Marked of Kane and GDI, 2 super strong, stable, staple factions. So, yeah. Control 402. I have no idea. I've never seen that movie. Ooh, Bike's going to be showing up. Chasing the harvesters. Edface finds a bit of an opening. Can he actually get any real damage done? Oh my gosh, this harvester's so low on health, but no, he'll survive. No, he won't. The last hits from that bike find the damage, And this is the more typical MCV timing that we expect to see. Not like that other match on Forgtten Forest. Couple of shard walkers moving out on the map. Dankson and Taking Notes going for the expansion, but also defending back at home. Second refinery hasn't popped out yet from Dankson. Spent too much on the defense. I mean, if you can kill the power plant, that's nice. Bike gonna get a couple of shots off there. MCV's on the move. And always nice to pull your MCV a little bit further south if you're the expanding player, so that you can work off of both fields a little bit better. It looks like both teams have kind of pulled their... Oh, actually, the beacon coming in. I think babyjunior is literally saying what I just said. He's like, hey, you should move your MCV down there. Well, bike's showing up right as the harvester spawns in. And that was perfect timing by Taking Notes. He might actually get both harvesters. The Predator tanks are coming in for defense, but hey, guess what? Bikes and buggies are faster. And this harvester is not going towards... If you drive towards the Predator tanks, they actually can defend faster than if you drive away from the Predator tanks and you're just slowly chasing the bikes with whatever units you have. One more shot will do it, and the harvester goes down. 3 harvesters for all of those bikes. That was like 5 or 6 bikes. It wasn't even that many bikes, and they got 3 harvesters. 2 of them on the natural expansion, and one of them the only one that edface has down there. Absolutely perfect execution there. Kind of makes up for the fact that 1 harvester died back here in the top left-hand corner at the start of the game. So nicely done by babyjunior and by edface, able to, or by dankson and Taking Notes, able to get the counterattack damage with the bikes a couple of minutes later. Taking Notes really finding some critical points there. All right. I'm not sure about this split expansion again. We'll see if it works out. They're at least both on the southern half of the map, so that could be useful. Bikes coming in. Shard walkers are here to defend. I don't think any harvesters have gone down, so that actually worked out really well. edface pulls back, and edface not able to hang with the boys. He's going to try and go back in. A couple of fanatics here. 1 panic fanatic squad help the Scorpions to be able to deal with the Predator tanks. EMP lands as well, and the bikes head on south. They're going to try and trade out with the gun walkers, but those shard walkers, every time you step forward, it's just massive damage being done. And especially once they get that blue shard upgrade as well. Harvester's back online. edface and babyjunior will eventually be able to stabilize in the south, but not before taking a little bit more damage. He's going to lose another harvester. Even with all of these defenses, even with the rocket squads, the laser turret being added right at the end there, another harvester going down. Bikes coming in. 2 bikes. They will kind of run into this Scorpion tank. We'll be able to get a couple of shots off, but 2 Scorpions, no problem to clean up those bikes. Shard walkers into the middle of the map. Blue Tiberium contested, but it is being slowly taken by Taking Notes. And the bikes eventually explode something. Actually, I don't know how the bikes have survived this long. Harvester's taking a little bit of damage as they transfer. That bike perfectly dancing around those power plants before the Scorpions double team that 1 bike and kill it off. 2 shots. Bam, bam. Tibbs bike getting burned down. Gets eliminated. Shard walker's gonna have to back up. All right, I feel like both teams have stabilized well enough. There should be an income advantage on the blue side of the map, but dankson was so late in taking his expansion that he's actually further behind in total resources gathered than anyone else, but he dropped 0 refineries down here. Yeah, so there really should be 3 refineries, like 7 harvesters on these 2 fields, but there's 2 refineries, 1 harvester. I guess the other harvesters are at the blue Tiberium, but this just has been a slow start or a slow mid-game for the economy on the blue side of the map. They've killed so many harvesters of their opponent, but they haven't built very many harvesters of their own, and they have not been able to fully take advantage of that. Blue shards have now finished up, so it's Predator tanks and a Shatterer versus blue shards from the Scrin side of the map. When you go up against Reaper 17, you better be ready to deal with the firepower that they've got. And the tripod does go down. The EMP's starting to land. Rocket squad's mixed in here, and the Awakened squad's going to get run over there by the Scorpion tanks. All of the Scorps will go down. Beam cannons able to burn everything down, and the Predator tanks standing strong against those shard walkers. When you've only got the shard walkers, they do not have enough DPS to handle every threat that's on the field. When you get those EMPs landing, you get those reinforcements coming in, there's not much you can do. EMP lands on the stealth tanks. Enlightened squads clean them up. The Juggernaut's onto the front line. Dankson's weak economy has not been able to save him. Edface leading the entire game in economy. Even though he lost some harvesters early on, he's got 2 grand more than TakingNotes. And he's got quite a bit more. He's got 10 grand more than Dankson. And everyone is spending their money. No one's floating 10K, not like we saw in some of those other games. 10, 15, 20K in the bank. MCV moved to the front line. And yeah, getting a decent number of harvesters and refineries onto your natural expansion is actually a good way to play the game. Meanwhile, there still aren't very many harvesters here. I count... Yeah, this long-distance mining to the blue Tiberium is not working out. That's a better thing to do when you've got 7, 8 harvesters on your natural and you've actually like harvested most of the green. So then the longer trips to the blue aren't missing as much money. But when you've got these extremely close refineries to the green Tiberium, you're missing so many loads of Tiberium by going for the blue and taking so much longer. Sonic Commander onto the front line. 2 Juggernauts here. Would love to see, you know, maybe 4 more Juggernauts onto the front line. We'll see if the Rage Gen does very much. Predator tank's going to be targeting some of these other units. Fortunately, the Juggernauts have survived. That's who you want to survive, the Rage Gen. 1 Predator tank did go down. A couple of Enlightened squads making their way to the front line. EMPs will be able to land. And that's rear armor on the Eradicator Hexapod. Those Juggernauts finding some massive shots. Even though it's only 3 Juggernauts, they're still able to chunk away that Eradicator health bar. Mine drop coming in. Magnetic mine on top of these units. The Spectres finding a couple of good shots there. That's 4 Spectres, which can put out massive damage onto these Juggernauts. We'll see if they actually land any more shots. The Juggernaut's starting to pull back. Redeemer steps forward. The war of attrition over this center field has started, but the sneaky expansion in the north, and that's a commando as well. We'll try and keep an eye on that carry-all. Eradicator back up to half health. Those Corruptors doing an amazing job of keeping that Eradicator alive against the EMPs, against everything else. But Edface with that sneaky expansion in the north, if that goes uncontested. Whoa! That Eradicator just got deleted. Well, those Corruptors not doing a good job of keeping it alive, I guess. It's not going to be able to find very much damage there. Carriel dropped off the Commando, and that's a dead war factory. That's a dead refinery, and this Commando has gone unnoticed for now. Could get the Nerve Center and the Foundry. That would be amazing if he could get both of those as well. Actually going to be able to rank up. The front line starting to fall apart for the GDI Marked of Kane team, but still some Juggernauts are there. Commando needs to keep the chain going as long as she can avoid those Shard Walkers. Enlightened squads coming back to the front line. Predator tank as well. A couple of more Juggernauts being eliminated. Baby Junior not able to hold the line with those Juggernauts. Another power plant goes down. Shard Walker might notice her. No, the Shardwalker doesn't notice the commando. Quick, get the War Factory. And the Shardwalker's just being sent to the front line, just rallied there instead of killing the commando. Front line sonic emitter is not going to last very long versus all of these tripods. EMP does land. 2 EMPs. The commando's still alive, back on the other side of the map, clearing out pretty much the entire main base of dankson and taking notes. EMPs keeping these juggernauts alive for longer than they would otherwise, but the juggernauts have mostly been cleaned up. Commando making her way south, can clean up that upgraded power plant as well. Couple of Shardwalkers turned around would probably solve that commando problem, but Team Blue is not interested in it. And unfortunately, edface has not been able to drop a bunch of refineries on that expansion in the north. The power plant goes down. Everything is undefended. MCV double tier 3 tech. They just aren't realizing this at all. This commando is on the verge of going heroic. Finally, she gets beaconed. Finally, they realize it, and the tier 3 goes down before the Venoms can show up. Run, run, run! MCV moments away, but it doesn't matter. The MCV gets sniped right as the commando goes down. No hope for that MCV. I can't believe he actually got the kill on the MCV. That commando, an absolute hero. And a big thanks to Fortune Chaos for the raid. Welcome to the Kane's Wrath subscriber replay action. Edface and Baby Junior hold the line. The Eradicator goes down, but they haven't stopped the Vertigos. They haven't stopped the tripods. And Edface, if only he had been able to take this field, he could have had so much more cash to work with. The income advantage for Team Red has disappeared. dankson and taking notes now up 10 grand over edface, 20, 36, 34 grand over Baby Junior. That commando was amazing, but it just wasn't enough. And now the commando for taking notes is getting that revenge. Goes for the War Factory, goes for the barracks. The sonic emitter, nope. Sonic emitter gets eliminated. And the Grenadier squad as well. The MCV and the tier 3 both could be targets. Double watchtower and shredder turret deploy there to deal with the commando to deny the MCV kill. Avatars on the front line, chewing through the beam cannons. Edface's one hope is this northern base, which like never actually got scouted, never got identified. Meanwhile, Team Blue has done massive damage. 2 bikes with the Tib Core upgrade. They've found a couple of targets, found some harvesters. Team Red, the avatars from Edface. They came in from the north. They were able to do some damage, clean up the rest of those attacking forces. Engineers coming out, engineers getting sniped. This one avatar that remains for Team Blue, just absorbing massive attention. 2 or 3 engineers getting sniped there. Vertigo bombers have been absolutely massive in this game, doing huge amounts of damage to everything from Team Red. But maybe things have actually kind of stabilized here. The bikes coming in from Edface, finding some damage against harvesters, destroying the air tower, denying those Vertigos a place to land. The rebuild has happened. The Eradicator Hexapod is back out on the field for Team Blue. The Redeemer, I think, survived. Double MCV. Rebuilding 2 just in case. You don't want to lose another MCV and be out of a job. Taking notes in dankson. They're leading the charge to the north, but it's mostly dankson. Taking notes is here as well. A couple of these awakened enlightened squads could be saving their EMPs. And I don't know what these shock troopers and 1 Shardwalker make their way into the middle of the line. But this has taken the pressure off of this natural expansion area. There's not a lot of Tiberium there, but there is at least some. Shardwalkers running all over this base. dankson standing alone now as all of the Enlightened squads have gone down. More and more reinforcements just kind of getting awkwardly sent around the terrain split. They're getting pathed the wrong way. Vertigo bombers coming back in. Huge cluster of 3 avatars taking some pretty massive splash damage. They're all into red and orange health bars now. Edface and babyjunior losing their secret expansion in the north. Edface held this location for so long, but now it's all being eaten alive by the Skrin invaders. 5 avatars. That's actually a pretty massive amount of firepower, 5 avatars. If only they were actually joined together and not half dead. I guess only 3 of them are half dead. The other 2 are pretty good HP. No corruptors, though, so this Eradicator will take some pretty massive damage. As long as they don't get crushed, these avatars can, well, stealth bombers coming in. Vertigo bombers clean up 1 of the avatars. The tripod just hanging out, killing a refinery, not actually helping this Eradicator fight these avatars. Eradicator taking massive damage. EMP locks it down. All of these units are going to watch their Eradicator die, doing nothing to help it. dankson sends his Eradicator forward, and how many times have we seen that exact storyline happen again and again and again? An epic unit gets sent forward, no units to support it. It looks like it'll be fine, and then suddenly an EMP lands, a couple of avatars get some shots off, and then the Eradicator is done and dead. Another EMP lands, and that'll be a dead tripod. dankson taking that location, but not able to do anything with it. Bikes still running around the right side of the map. babyjunior and edface haven't been able to deal with these bikes. They've cleared out a couple of harvesters. edface, his expansion has been shut down, but at least he hasn't been totally pushed back. Oh, this is actually a lot of Tiberium. This field is regrown almost completely. Same with these main fields. Back at the starting location of dankson and taking notes, there's a huge amount of Tiberium that could be captured, that could be harvested and refined. Vertigo bombers coming in. Bikes coming through. Vertigo bombers targeting the power plants. Hey, I mean, at least it's something. Bikes swinging through this base. These guys are on a bad path. They got grouped in with those other bikes. Somebody tapped W a few too many times, sent all of the bikes to the same location, regardless of where they were coming from. And those bikes just ran through a bunch of defenses. These Shardwalkers, these avatars, I don't think they can attack the obelisk with all of these Shardwalkers here. Well, the Shardwalkers are just going to back off. So that avatar got like that obelisk got like 1 shot off before it actually died. Stasis chamber locks down those avatars. And, well, at least one of the avatars got left out, so the Shardwalkers can bully this one avatar. EMPs could be massive. The shards are so clumped up, every single Shardwalker gets caught. And here is the Vertigos for the splash damage. No, most of the avatars are spread out, and the splash doesn't matter, but the crushes could be huge. A couple of Shardwalkers go down, Rage Gen fires off, and these Shardwalkers are just getting eaten up. The stealth field making some of their hats invisible as finally Team Blue gets their act together. The Redeemer showing up, helping to lead the charge. Juggernaut's back online. Juggernaut's getting taken down by the Venoms, slowly but surely going to burn through that. EMP does land. Team Blue throwing everything that they've got at this attack. And can they actually prevail once and for all against Edface's spread out base crawl? So many power plants here just spread across the map. The Redeemer now going to be going up against that Sonic Emitter in a 1v1. Descents showing up, couple of Venoms as well. Team Red, I keep thinking that they're about to collapse, and then they manage to make the comeback happen. They manage to bounce back and hold on for a little bit longer, but they've been on so low income for so long. They've been holding on to, you know, basically nothing for so long. Dankson, on the other hand, 8K per minute. I'm not actually sure where all of his harvesters are, but he's got 8K per minute. I guess he's been harvesting over here. Venom's showing up, clean up the Grenadiers, get the Avatar as well. Baby Junior has left the game. It's just down to Edface and his insane base crawl. Spectre gonna get a couple of good shots off. Maybe if there were 8 Spectres all landing these shots at once, they could actually clean up these units, but not going to happen. Ichor Seed called in. Engineers being sent out to grab those avatars and those juggernauts. Gonna need a pretty massive comeback for Edface to be able to take this one. TakingNotes sending his Redeemer forward. I think that guy's stealthed. I think that's why he's, you know, or maybe he's just very confident that there isn't a couple of avatars or a couple of tripods waiting around the corner. He's like, I don't think you have any juggernauts or avatars left. And he's right. There are very few units on the side of Edface. I think most of his units are actually harvesters. He's got a unit count of 14, and, well, I think like half of those are actually just harvesters. Couple of bikes rolling through. Edface is fighting to the last man and rocket. Not sure how he's gonna be able to make the comeback happen, but he's hoping. He's hoping against hope. His one juggernaut in the south will be able to find something. No, not so much. Dankson and TakingNotes. It was a hard-fought game. A slow mover at times. This is so much Tiberium. 4 harvesters, 5 harvesters full of Tiberium, 6, 7 harvesters full of Tiberium. What is this? What is this? What is that? That's the wrong color. But he did get spotted out. The engineer train ends there. That would have been amazing if Edface had been able to swing an engineer capture, just work through all of those buildings at the natural expansion. If he had snuck out a commando somehow, he'd been able to just bang, 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 C4 all of those buildings, one after the other. C4 machine gun, just blowing up the buildings. But it is not meant to be. Every chance, the chance at a comeback. And Team Blue never really did retake their main base. There's so much Tiberium up there. But they never did re-expand to their starting location. There keeps being like random attack markers, random battle markers on the minimap. But I think it's finally coming to an end. Dankson and TakingNotes able to get the win over Edface and Baby Junior. Finally collapsing in on themselves. And another game on Forgtten Forest all wrapped up.